Hi, this is Bob Smolko from Remax All-American, bringing you another one of our Principal Success Series stories. And we did our luncheon today at Lafayette High School, and I'm here with Anita Swinton. She prefers to go by Anita. So here I am to introduce Lafayette and Anita to you, and to bring forward the personality of the Lafayette High School and what Anita defines as a Lafayette Ram. Anita, why don't we start out by you giving us a little bit of your credential,
okay.
if you will.
Well, I've been
at
Lafayette for 10 years. It's been 9 years as the principal, and I was the assistant principal here for a year and a half. So I've been in an administration role here for that amount of time, but I've been in education. This is my 36th year. I'm a graduate of Longwood University, and then I worked on my master's from Virginia Commonwealth University. And then I've taken a couple of courses at William & Mary, still trying to make that decision if I'm going to work on my doctorate. So I've been in education a long time, and I think it's my passion. I love working with students, and in my role, I love working with my teachers now. So.
Well, that's great. In your, we were discussing a little bit about what makes Lafayette the unique high school. We did mention that they have a great football program, so we'll get that off the table right away, because we want to talk more on the education side. Mm-hmm. And you had mentioned earlier, we were discussing diversity of the school. Mm-hmm. Can you just kind of highlight that a little bit, and we can...
Well, I think what I said when I first came to Lafayette, I recognized the diversity. And I think as society has changed, Lafayette's diversity has also changed. But because the diversity has changed, I haven't seen a change in the way students work with each other. There are times, and I'm amazed at how my students who are in advanced level courses or average level courses, and I have a population of special needs students, and it may be severe handicapped students, they work with each other. My students will talk with all students, and that's what I love about my students. I can be in the lunchroom and see some of my students who really sometimes don't know the barriers or how to handle some social issues, and my students will not be mean to them. They will sit there and listen and be respectful of them. And that's what I really love, is that this school, they support each other and they help each other. Do we have the natural issues? Yes. But I would tell you that these students work well together and they support one another. So that's what makes up Lafayette, and say why I love the diversity. These students here will experience the real world. I see that all the time.
You did mention earlier, though, about the diversity in levels of education. Why don't we talk real quick on that?
We have students who we offer many advanced placement and honors courses, so we have to make sure, because we have a diverse population, we're also diverse in our learning needs of our students. And so we have to make sure that we meet those needs for all students. So we have, I feel, a very strong AP curriculum, advanced placement curriculum, and we have a strong honors curriculum. We have we deal with our average level students and try to provide them the things that they need academically. But we see also sometimes all of our students are not going to go to college. So we have a career technical education program where students are able to learn about programming in relation to working with computers, with engineering. We have marketing programs where students learn really some good skills like customer service. Some of them go out and work with the community. So our students are experiencing a lot of different things, and we try to meet their needs. Now, if we ask them, are they getting everything they want? Probably not. But we feel we are trying to do our very best to meet the needs of all of our students.
Well, my daughter's a teacher, so I understand that and even when she was a student, how it's a whole different game, and even in real estate, when we're, with younger, say, mid-20s to 30s, I mean, the whole communication situation is totally different, so it continues to evolve. We see that all the time. Now, in the, and I can endorse Lafayette High School. Now, this is not an endorsement against Jamestown or War Hill, because there was only Lafayette when my kids went to school, but each one went out and got into the college of their first choice, and all had some form of a scholarship, and all graduated and graduate at some point were on the dean's list. So I know that the educational runs real deep in history. One of the final questions that I ask anybody. Well, first of all, I'm sorry. How would you define a Lafayette Ram? What does that stand for? If I would say you a Lafayette Ram.
If you're a Lafayette Ram, I remember when I first came here, I saw that, and it dealt with respect, accountability, and being able to work with one another. I can't remember what the M was at that particular time, but work with one another. And that's what we try to push with our students. Be respectful to one another. Be accountable for your own actions. You may make mistakes sometimes, but we want you to understand why you made it and not repeat it and learn from it. And we go on. And then just being there for each other. These kids really, these students, are there for each other. And they will say, a lot of students will say that teachers are there for them, that they do have one teacher. I'm not saying you can interview every student, they will say that, but a majority of the students from the surveys that we've done, that they do believe they have a teacher that they can go to and help support them and help them to be able to manage high school. So that's something that I'm very, very proud of. We just have so many programs for our students. We really do. You talked about the football. We have an award-winning theater program. We have a very strong band program, a choir program. So our kids are involved in performing arts. They're also involved in the arts, the fine arts. We find something for our students. And that's what I love about Lafayette. We are trying to meet the needs of all students, not just a particular. You
mentioned the band. We were commenting how well they performed down at for the Williamsburg Parade. And just a couple of final questions is what would you say? You mentioned you've been a principal for 10 years, and what would you say your greatest accomplishment is?
Oh wow, we've had a lot of accomplishments.
Well, that's
but
good.
I think if I want to keep present is that this year. As I said when we were talking earlier, that it is so hard for the high schools to meet all the federal guidelines, and Lafayette did that for the 2015-16 school year. And I am so proud of the students, and I'm so proud of the teachers, because it takes everyone working together to accomplish those things. So we know our students aren't just about the numbers, but we work hard to try to build relationships. So I'm very, very proud of that. I really am. And it's just everything that occurs. We just won the state one-act competition. And we're in a new conference through the Virginia High School League. So that's a great accomplishment. We're strong in a lot of areas. And I'm very proud of my students. And I say to them a lot, thank you, or, oh, congratulations, I'm so proud of you that you did that. So, and they're proud. They demonstrate that pride a lot of times when they're walking in the hallway.
One question I have is when you have a passion for the kids and the team and everything, how much time do you get? But as that unfolds, you still have to be an administrator. How much time, say on a weekly basis, do you spend with leading your teachers with the kids and then doing the mundane administrative chores that you need to do?
Right. Well, we have our monthly staff meetings, and that's just a given, where we kind of do some professional developments. But we have what we call professional learning communities, and each department has that, and then they break them down by subgroups, and they meet twice a month. So each administrator is responsible for working with particular departments to try to hear some of their concerns and to address their needs. So we work with teachers on that, so through their professional learning communities. We also have a team that's looking at our discipline data, and how can we improve upon that and not let suspension be the only thing we do. So we have teachers that have volunteered to work on that committee, and then they do a presentation every month at our staff meetings, trying to get all of us to understand our data when it comes to discipline. We have a school improvement specialist who works with our data in relation to test scores and things like that, and she's good at presenting to the teachers and making sure that they're doing that. We also do, the admin team will do walkthroughs where we just go in and sit in a classroom and observe for 10 to 15 minutes. And when we first started doing that a few years ago, the kids were looking like, why are you in here? But they're very comfortable now, and our teachers are very comfortable knowing that we will walk in their classrooms just to observe and work with them if we see a need for something that needs to be corrected, or even compliment them and, wow, I really like that. And when they do great things, we want to share it and get them to share it with their colleagues and meetings. So we always try to push strong instruction. And so we want to make sure that we're working at making sure our students are engaged in their learning.
Excellent. Well, my final question, which I always ask last, is if I watched that Windows 10 commercial and it says, they have a whole bunch of kids in the school, and one of these kids is going to change the world. And I always ask the school, and in reference to technology, are we ready for that? Are you ready? Are these kids ready for technology changes that are here and coming? And I specifically ask you this because this is one of the the oldest of the three physical plants, so that sometimes the new schools get some new stuff that the old schools just weren't built for.
I think the division has done a good job trying to make sure that the infrastructure in relation to the technology is as up to date as it can be in a building, an older building. But it's not if the kids are going to be able to handle it, it's if the adults are going to be able to handle it.
Yeah, I understand.
And so
that.
the kids are really good at handling the technology. I think one thing we want to teach them is being more responsible with the technology.
Well, that's a fact. Yeah.
So that's something, but I had a teacher share with me today that she used the iPads in her classroom and how every student, even the struggling students or the students who, I don't want to do this in class today, sometimes statements, every student was engaged, and it's because of the technology. So we have to learn to take that technology as the adults, as the educators, and find ways to implement it in the classroom, which will also teach the students how to be responsible with the technology.
Extremely good point.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for having us for lunch.
Oh, sure. Oh, thank you for providing lunch. We
Okay.
really appreciate it.
Thanks again.
Okay.